Hello, Mad.
Hello.
Right,
All
right,
right.
dude.
Yeah, I listening to that. Like it was like sitting in the back studio somewhere, and that music. Did the people hear that music?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just like getting you geared up. Like that was quite good. That was.
yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing what technology can do for you these days.
Yeah, yeah. I've been sleeping there on the settee, up until about before we tested this out. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's woke me up a bit.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for coming on. Now, let me just explain to the audience of people that may be listening. Uh, if you know me, then you probably are that you know Carl. We know each other quite well. But this is an interview. This isn't the Benny Emanuele show tonight, or we're not doing a sketch. We're not. This is me actually interviewing you
All
about
right.
what it is that you actually do, and obviously you've got a new book out. So I want to talk to you with that, but we'll come on to that later on. So we're gonna, find out who you are. So give yourself a lovely introduction.
That's like a job interview. That is, it's like I freeze now on the job interview. An introduction. My name is Carlos Manueli. Um, on in the internet, social media, I've been making videos for about 20 odd years, which I
Yeah.
call comedy videos. Some people might not
Other
call it
people call it
comedy.
other people call it different things.
Other people call it lots of different things, but I'll still call it comedy because it tickles
I call it
me, you
comedy.
know.
Tickles
Yeah,
me.
yeah. You call it comedy because you like me. You're kind, like.
If I didn't find a comedy, I wouldn't do them with you.
Yeah, no, no, you would. Like, you're a slut that way. Like, you do anything.
Don't be the video. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Wait there. I want to tell you what it is. Don't matter what it is.
No matter what it is, I'll do it. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been writing my own original comedy. I try to call it original, and nothing is original. Um, I
It's
just
your take on things, really. It's your take. I think all your videos. It's all your take on the world, really.
yeah, yeah.
You
My
explain,
slant on yeah. I suppose I'm on my slant on things from I've watched comedy from Spike Milligan, Monty Python, um, Peter Sellers, Dudley
yeah,
Moore, Peter Cook. I've watched those, and I've kind of ingested them over the years, and I've always wanted to be like kind of Monty Python esque, and Spike Milligan with a bit of Robin with Mork and Mindy, a bit of all that
with the
zaniness.
silliness, the carry on
Zaniness.
kind of silliness. It's slapstick in a way.
No, I wouldn't call it slapstick. Don't you ever call it slapstick?
Well, not in, it's but because some especially the stuff with you and Rob. If you haven't seen Carl's work, then just put in Carlos Manueli in Google and you'll find him on one of his platforms. But your early stuff with Rob, some of it kind of was in a way because it was sort of you two told a story with just being together. And sometimes you
Y-
didn't need to say anything. There didn't need to be a punchline.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so it's yeah.
Yeah, so awkward. It was extremely
It
always with.
was.
That's why Rob don't make a lot of videos. It's just very, very, very awkward, very hard. None of us could remember lines at all. And Rob is even worse than me because he refuses to rehearse. He says that's stupid. Stupid to rehearse. I write something, I send it to him. He
Yeah,
won't read it until we're there. Although I wrote it all. I
yeah,
still get stuck with the line. So it's extreme. It really, really, really frustrating for the both of us when we make a video, exhausting at times as well. But you know,
Well, yeah, I suppose because he doesn't want to do it.
mm,
You were kind of going, "Oh, come on, it's a laugh. Let's do it. This will be funny." But then I think that reluctancy to be in them comes over in his dry sort of, and when he's got to be ratty with you, he's ratty with you. That
yeah,
ratty
yeah,
isn't him acting. That's him being ratty with you because he doesn't want to be in it. Oh, Carl, man, that's
yeah.
really
When's it
the
over?
whole thing.
And the mad thing about Robert is, although he doesn't write anything, whatever himself, I do whatever. When it comes to right, we sit down, I go through the script, I show him the script, and he'll always add something better to it, or take
Yeah,
something away which I didn't think
yeah,
of, and it makes it
yeah,
better. It's like he doesn't, no input to the writing side of it, but then when you look, sit down, and he's like, "Oh, you should say it this way, Carl, or you should say it that way, or I wouldn't say that, Carl," and it's like brilliant. He does always
yeah,
add something to it as
yeah.
well,
Well,
which is
do you think that's because most of those videos, well, the majority of those videos you wrote for you and him?
mm,
So it's like you'd written your part, so it needed him to go for it to work.
yeah,
Because like, no,
yeah. I
I'm
wouldn't
not.
say that. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
he
saying
would.
it as you would say it there. You're not saying how I would say it.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
would say, "I wouldn't say that, Carl. I would say this," or so and so wouldn't say that. You
yeah.
know, he would say this. It's like, what did I can't remember when writing my book, and I mentioned copper. He said, I can't remember, but he said, "I don't like you calling them coppers or something like that." I don't know, but it's he
There's another
he
word.
will always. Yeah, there's other words you could call them, Carl. You're too friendly.
Yeah. That's how you go
But
for the
yeah,
PG-14.
yeah. But that's years ago. It's like when I used to make videos of because I worked with the council in schools,
Yeah.
couldn't really swear. And I didn't really want to swear, but Robert would be like, "Yeah, Carl, I want to swear, man. Let me swear." It's like, "No, no, Rob. Oh, please, Carl." I said, "No, man." And since I haven't, then introduced more swearing, but I've cut back on the swearing now as well.
So you've been doing it now, as you said, for 20 years.
Making videos for 20 years, yeah, yeah.
Making videos. So what? Even though we've touched on your comedy influences, but what made you go right? Okay, because you think about it, 20 years, YouTube was just getting starting.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then, so it was a fresh. What made you think right? I know. I'm gonna start doing sketches and putting them on YouTube. Or was it YouTube you first started putting them on?
YouTube, yeah, it was only YouTube at the time then. I've always written, I didn't know, I've always kind of written before even before computers, I was cutting things out of newspapers, making my own stories, gluing them in and writing. And so it did just come kind of instinctively. A next step for me, if I was writing poems and I'd want to show people my poems, read them out to people if they come to my house. And then the next step, then the internet cameras come, and it's right. The next normal step to do then is take those poems or have you and show people, instead of sitting with people, use a piece of paper, read this, or me reading it out. It was a means to an end. Right, I can now show other people now on the internet
Yeah.
with a the camera. So it was just natural progression to go from paper to camera.
The camera.
Because if
it was a bold move, really, when you think about it. Because you really did grab hold of that sort of technology. There was just this is the new thing that's happening, and you
I suppose
because back then it wasn't easy to make videos.
no, my friend, a friend of mine in work as well, Paul. I didn't know how to edit at all as well then, so he gave me software prep. Oh, what was it called? Pinnacle Studio. I needed to edit, but the actual first, the very first videos I ever did, I weren't in any of them. Basically, yeah, the very Rob went to Thailand. And
Right.
Rob, obviously, you know, Rob, crazy as he is, I give him my video camera and I said, please do me a favor, just film yourself when you're out in Thailand. Just film. And I never made videos before. Said, just film yourself, and just give me the film afterwards. Give me the camera afterwards. And
Yeah.
then I was in work, and he came home from Thailand. He said, I don't know what you could do with them, Carl. He said, they're bonkers. I don't know. So I'll have a look at them. So I had a look at them. A friend then showed me how to edit in Pinnacle. And the first videos I ever did was Rob Does Thailand, 10 of them.
Right.
I wasn't in any of the
No,
first 10 videos I ever did.
I
Pardon?
think I think I may have seen these, or I know definitely that I've heard about them at least.
Yeah, they went down a storm. Certainly around here, you know, in the village where I do. And it was the first time I could see that I edited, and I edited well, straight
Yeah.
away, you know. And I never edited before, and look how, you know, the sequence of you know, shots and what have you. Put music to them. People love them. People really like them. They're all, and none of them are on YouTube anymore because Rob didn't like them after a few years. He said he
Right.
likes them now. I think it was
Right.
well over 20 years ago. He said the other day he likes them now. And where were they? He told me to delete them. And I've
Right.
lost a lot of data over the years with hard drives, so I haven't actually got them anymore. Well, I got
Oh wow.
random ones. Mm.
Wow. Wow. Oh, that's a
Mm.
shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, because I don't mind recycling. He told me the other day he liked them. I was like, right, I'll get those back out straight away. Like if
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but I haven't got the
Go ahead.
raw ones. And
We can get them on TikTok this time.
yeah, but as well as the
Put something in
time,
the book.
yeah, as well as that, people were starting to be a bit more cruel on social media as well. And
Right.
you could see that they were the type of videos that people might have been cruel on as well, you know, because
Right.
he was very naive going to Thailand. He admitted that himself, you know, and he didn't like it. And it's a beautiful country, beautiful place. And, you know, he was like, it was before the idiot abroad, like, and I'm sure after I put Rob Does Thailand, they pinched my idea and done the idiot
Yeah, they're
abroad
making
because it was
he's making
exactly
your
like,
idea.
yeah, he was exactly like the idiot abroad. Like people were saying things like that before the idiot abroad come out, you know. They look at him,
Yeah.
well, yes, but they were the first videos I ever did, and I can't
So
remember the next.
were you sort of obviously you've got creativity in your blood, right?
Mm.
You know, it runs through you. It's runs through your vein. What makes you tick. Were you like that as a teenager, or were you a little scallywag,
Yeah, somewhere along the
or were you
line.
both?
Oh, what? Sorry, pardon.
I said, or were you a little scallywag, or a little bit of both?
No, I was a good kid. I was.
He was a
No,
good kid. I
I
I
was a
used to
good
say
kid.
that. I say
But I
that,
was.
right?
I
And my
was.
sister and my mother go, "No, you bloody weren't." I'm like, "Yes, I was. I was a quiet kid. I was. No, you, no, you weren't." Oh, all right, okay. That's all the memories I've got.
Yeah.
I
It's
brainwashed
like I don't
myself.
snore. It's like I don't snore. I don't like. Yes, you
Yeah,
do. It's like, yeah, I was a good kid.
I don't do it
I
myself.
don't snore.
I don't do it
Um,
myself.
but yeah, I've always been kind of creative in a way, in imagination. I always had.
Yeah,
When we were younger, me and my brother, we obviously sleep in the same bedrooms, where have you, and we was about 7, 8, and then just before we go to sleep, I used to make up this game. We used to make up this. We traveled to another world in our heads every night before we went to
yeah,
sleep. We had characters in this world, and we were grown
right.
up, and we were driving cars, and we had jobs. And each night we'd leave it and say, right, go the next night. Then you'd be like, where? What was you doing last night? Where was we going? So every single night while
We
we were
carry
lying
on.
in bed going to sleep, we'd go to this world we were in, and I started it off type of thing, but you know, it
Yeah,
was like as kids, and yeah, we'd look forward to going to bed to go to this pretend world we were living in.
So that was I in your 20s then? What about, I'm talking about your younger years.
I know that you're talking about when I was younger. Sorry about that.
No, yeah, that shows you've had this creative flair since you were young, and luckily your brother is quite creative as well, isn't he? So it's to have that
No,
sort
my
of,
brother's not creative.
isn't he creative?
No, not
Isn't
in
he?
that way. No, creative with
No,
his
right.
hands and that. But
Right, yeah, but he's got an imagination to be, because if you're creative with your hands, you've got to have
one of
an
my
imagination.
younger brother is more creative. My older brother type of thing. But yeah.
Right. That's right. You got two brothers, haven't you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got mixed up. Yeah.
I've got a mixture.
In that pretend world, then my younger brother come in, and then if a friend would sleep over, we'd allow them into our pretend world as well, and they'd have character.
Yeah.
They'd be a character in our pretend world.
Right. No, that's wow. I'm jealous now. I wish I'd known you when I was younger. It would have sounded cool. It would have sounded cool coming around to stay at your house. Like
Well, I always wanted it.
Kids do it now, though. They just play Dungeons and Dragons instead, don't they?
Yeah. Well, Dungeons and Dragons. Kids play Dungeons and Dragons these days. That's years old, that is.
Oh no, dude! They still play it, and like Warhammer and all these.
Oh, Warhammer. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I
it's
didn't
all
know.
in these
I know.
imaginative world, but back then we didn't have those kind of worlds, technology. So we had to use our imagination more. Like
Yeah, and books as well. I'd read. I'd always be reading books. In school, we would have half a lesson of English every Friday, and the teacher would read a book out, but I couldn't wait for the end of the book. So I pinched the book. Yeah, I asked her if I could have the book, but she said no.
All right. Yeah.
I said, Miss, can I take a book home to finish it? Or no, you can't. No, you can't. You got to read it every week, once for half hour, what have you. So I used to pinch the books then, and I'd read them. But I loved reading as well. Always read anything I could get my hands on.
Okay, cool. So obviously now you've been doing it for 20 years, and you've built up quite a following, really. Which is it TikTok you got the biggest following on?
Yeah, TikTok, yeah.
And how many followers have you got on TikTok?
82 or 87,000. One or the other. I say 80,000.
80,000. Wow, that's a proper amount of people to be getting your stuff out to on a daily basis. And that's not counting then your Facebook and Instagram as well.
Well, I don't with it's funny, I started off on YouTube. I've never done really well on YouTube. I don't post up to YouTube now, but I know we've had conversations about it. But I started off on YouTube, and Instagram I don't do very well on. But it's funny, it's TikTok, was the latest one. I was on the other platforms way before I was on TikTok,
I think when TikTok came along, it suited your style, because you like your sketches to be short, to the point.
Well, no, they were all long. They were all long before, like three or 4 minutes. But
that's still sort of for YouTube. That's people on YouTube are looking for. Well, at the time, were looking for longer form stuff. Like now, they've gone to the short. I think you were just too far ahead of your time, really, perhaps, for algorithms and stuff. Now you'd suit it now. So
suit it now, yeah. So TikTok, I changed completely the way I did everything on TikTok. I changed the way I wrote. I changed the way I filmed. I changed everything. I adapted to TikTok because I studied it as well in the background. What is it? What it does? What do they want from you? And everybody, I suppose, if you want to grow on a platform, you learn about the platform. And I was going, right, you want you to do this now. We want you to do that now. And but TikTok, I adapted. I changed completely the way I did everything.
Yeah, thinking
I
about it.
never spoke to the camera straight ever up until TikTok.
No. Do you think that's sort of, I've seen your confidence grow more in your videos, as in the amount you do,
Mm.
because you it was mostly you and Rob back then, really, wasn't it? So it made you
I
do
needed
things on
Rob.
your
Yeah,
own.
I needed Rob up until TikTok come. And
Yeah,
Rob was glad when TikTok come along because I didn't need him no more. And I was glad as well because he just kept letting me down all the time. He
yeah,
was saying, "No,
yeah,
yeah, we'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it." And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do certain sketches, and I was itching to do them, but I needed Rob. And when TikTok
yeah.
come along, it was like, I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody. I could
You
play
can
two
just do
people.
this,
I can walk on my own
that,
with the
that's
camera.
the yeah, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's because there's obviously, since TikTok's come along, there's been technologies that have come along as well that help you sort of edit it and things like that. So it encourages you seeing those things and going, oh right, hang on there, yeah, I can talk to myself here, or I can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
another character in my same videos, and I can be I can be in it together as well if I want
Yeah,
to.
yeah, it could be, it's like nobody says, "Oh, that's you as well." That's you as well. No, it was
No,
like before I couldn't do it. I didn't even imagine being able to play. I'll
to your
know.
wife.
I'll not, instead of having to Rob knock on the door, I'll knock on the door and then I'll film myself answering it. It's like
Yeah,
years
you
ago.
just
I
put a
thought,
hat on.
yeah, and
You just put a
you
hat
couldn't
on,
do
so
that
don't change
before.
the.
Well, you could do it before, I suppose, but up until TikTok come along, I didn't think it was. It's just I need an extra person. It's like often I used
Yeah,
to phone you. Then sometimes Rob would go to prison, and then I'd like to phone you. Like,
but I think in a way that it pushed you to move forward,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
because
made
it's like you got to make again. It's like on TikTok, reading all. Oh, you got to post 3 or 4 videos a day, and he knew they were right. I don't have to do it anymore or what have you. But if you want to grow, it's like you got to put yourself out there constantly, and that's what it says. You know what I mean? It's like people say
yeah,
that's what you got to do. I'll have a go doing what they say, and this guy says it works for him. I don't know. So
it's tight, and it's tiring. It is tiring. I know. I For myself, my channel is much sort of, I can say the same thing 100 times, but you've got to come up with fresh stuff all the time. Like,
yeah, because I get
and
bored. Because yeah,
it's, otherwise, yeah, you get bored. So I know what that feels like. So this is why I find I admire you in the fact of how many times you've adapted to get your message out there.
mm.
That
Yeah,
takes a
dude.
lot of sort of nights of
I,
what am
I,
I
I
going to
always
do?
look. I look for a formula that I'm no good at maths, but I think right, there's a good formula, and it's like right, I need themes. Like I always I needed themes so I could just jump in and out of different themes, and then with TikTok, my did you knows. Thought excellent. That's one theme you can put in a bag. When you find a did you know, you can use that. And then the other theme, this might sound a bit controversial. And then what I got a box, not a box, literally a box, but a set of things, that all right, I'll use that one for this. So as long as you got little like pigeonholes to put each thing in, then you laugh in because you can go, oh, that'll be a did you know, that'll be a me and
Yeah.
Blodwin, that'll be a me and Rob, that'll be a me and Benny. This one I can do on my own walking around. And so it makes it 10 times easier knowing that I can pigeonhole certain things and I've got
Well,
pigeonholes to put them in.
and especially if you're like me, you have 100 million ideas at the same, all at the same time, and having those pigeonholes, you instead of them just going away, you've got somewhere that you can kind of, right, yeah, hang on a minute, I know where I can do this. You've got,
Yeah.
places for them to go instead of it all just being a big jumble of stuff. So it's yeah, I should do
Yeah,
that.
structure does really, you know, I've always needed structure and a bit like
Yeah,
that, you know, and as long as I got this structure, I'm comfortable with it. It's like, um, I, you know, I can fly videos out type of thing. Do you mean? Which I
yeah,
have
yeah.
done.
No,
So,
I've seen
a
it.
lot
It's quite
easier
impressive.
than yeah than what it was before. Like, do you mean? So it's only because I've been doing it over and over and over again, and I spot everything now. If I go to the shop, if I go to the card machine, because that's another thing I read. I read comedy books, and it says this comedy go into the cash machine. You'll find
Yeah,
comedy in everything, and now it's like it's just automatic with me. I can see it in tiny little things.
yeah, and it's sort of as I said earlier, it is your sort of way you will look on the world then, because it is, it's very now it's a very observational kind of comedy that you're doing,
Yeah. Which I like. Yeah, and
which works.
it's a combination. It's like observational. My take on things as much as I can. It's all like it's weird to say. It is a formula. It's mathematical in a way as such.
Yeah,
But it's like right. You need to check even when I write the lines and what have you. It's like every third line or something, or every second line, or chuck that in. It's quite methodical. But yeah, so I said that needs a bit of absurdness. How can I chuck absurdness into it? You know, I love absurd and wacky, and they're not going to expect this word now. Then it doesn't fit in
yeah.
here or what have you. So yeah,
I was going to bring that up about too. One of the things that you like to do is use big words or obscure words in your videos.
I do
Um,
that in a kind of way. I used to watch because I've read lots and lots of books, and then I've watched period dramas. I love period dramas because it's like I've always said to my friend, I can't watch action films at all. But a period drama, what somebody could say in those words, in like 10 words or 5 words, is as exciting as a car chase to me. It really is. Like, I mean, they could do poof, so powerful, and I
oh,
love the combination of words, and that's why I love period dramas for that. Like,
well, the only period, and I'm trying to think of the word and the film. It was Orson Welles. Um, was it Pride and Prejudice? He did the film. Was it Pride and Prejudice, where
yeah,
he's the rich man and the woman comes to look after his child, and then he falls in love with her, and she's they having a discussion, and yeah, I think he asks her to marry him, and is this not a face of a kindly man?
yeah, yeah,
And that's what it started, and it was genius. And Monkey, we
yeah,
if there's a film on YouTube, old film, some nights we put that on and just watch really obscure old films. And for some reason, we picked on this one night, and all the way through it, the lines in it are amazing.
yeah. I love it. I do. Honestly, it's like I say, the way that's why I like watching period. It's just the way they talk and the language, the English language, and it's pure, and it's cuts to the chase. The old, it's like there's no tittle tattle involved in it.
Yeah, it's
it's
just
crisp,
this is
it's
what it
pure.
is.
It's just as it is. This they describe things so eloquently and perfectly, and because of that, like I say, it's like the big words or what have you. They come from the watching period dramas and
Right,
and
right.
and and I, if you've read years ago, I read Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, and a lot of George Orwell. Reading Aldous Huxley again is very. You need a dictionary. A lot of the books I
Yeah,
read years ago, I needed a dictionary by the side of
yeah.
me because I didn't know what the words were as well.
But no, I listened to it in an audio book, and I was like, yeah, some it's just like I what, And I thought
Yeah.
perhaps they were these sci-fi and making up like. That's how I settle it in my head. It's just a word that he's making up. I know they're real words, but I can't be asked to check.
You need, like you say, you need 2 books to read 1 book. You need the book, and then you need a dictionary to like, right, what does our word mean now? What's he saying? Like, you read, and them words stick, and that's why it's like,
right. I see.
Pardon?
No, see, I see. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I love those. I love those. Those words,
I
like.
suppose because you like double entendres as well, kind of thing, don't you? You know,
Yeah, I love.
every
Yeah, all sorts of playing with it, just playing with
all
words,
wordplay.
twisting them, turning them, elongating them, making them shorter, making them
Yeah,
rhyme, anything to do with words.
yeah. So you had a bit of fame with your videos, with some famous people tweeting them during the early Boris days, I believe. Or was it a general election?
Yeah, I did a lot of political videos years ago, dub videos I call them, where I'd use the video from House of Commons debates, and I'd use Monty Python, Life of Brian, Life of Brian pretty much, or Holy Grail, or some of the Monty Python quite a lot of Monty Python sketches. But I had a mission that I'd pretty much done it as well, is pretty much use most of Life of Brian and the audio, and dubbed it over the House of Commons speeches, all the big parts in Life of Brian. It was What Have the Romans Done For Us? That went viral. That went over. I think that might have been my first viral video. That had over 10 million views.
Wow.
Stephen Fry said it was marvelous. He followed me on Twitter. When he seen that, Adrian Edmondson followed me on Twitter, Dawn French, Matt Lucas,
wow,
some Coronation Street stars, Tanny Gray Thompson, and quite a few people from the Monty Python. From the Monty Python videos. I did loads.
Well, yeah, I hadn't when I seen it first. I didn't associate. I just thought that I was watching. I didn't associate it with you as, and then I was like, hang on a minute, that's Carl. Oh right, hang on a minute, because he wasn't, what your usual sort of thing like.
Well, it was a lull in between things, see, as well. Like Robert, again, back to Robert. He wasn't playing ball and making videos, and I had the urge to be creative and carry on making videos. So that how can I do it now without Phil? That I wasn't at the time talking to the camera or anything. So how can I still keep creating without nothing, basically? So I was just downloaded the whole of Monty Python film, and then going for the debates. And at the time, Boris Johnson. I think a lot of comedians were. He was such a. He's like a spitting image character. So full of charisma. You could put any voices onto him, and and people say the British politics and the Monty Python, how they matched so well. A lot of people were saying that, and they did. They really paired up together.
At that time, especially, it was very farcical, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, but like people. Yeah, it's like today we haven't put gentlemen. Today we haven't put enough boxes on top of other boxes, and then he's in and so he's in a boardroom. So I'll put it in Parliament, like Boris Johnson saying it, like or consider the lilies, in the field. They just went with it.
I genuinely think during his tender, that's all he did. He was just pretending. He's not a stupid man. I just think he just pretended to be bonkers. He's
not a dull man. He's just playing by the book. Just Phil, same as happening now, is just Phil, people full of crap, and then they won't know what to think of, and they won't know what to do, and just fill them full of shit constantly, like at least
Well,
3
yeah,
times a day, saying
it's
something absurd.
yeah, yeah, basically, because it's like, and then when what really going on, you haven't got a clue. Like, yeah.
You don't know
Anyway,
where to go.
right.
People don't know what to think anymore. It's because they're being bombarded with utter crap, like
Yeah, and this is
nonsense.
why they should.
It's only nonsense, like.
Well, and this is why they should come over and follow you on TikTok, and and on Facebook, because on Facebook, what you don't get on TikTok is from the comments.
Or you don't get that on the Carlos Manueli. It's only my friends on
No,
Facebook. I don't put that on
yeah,
Carlos Manueli.
no, it's only your friends on Facebook get them, and
I don't.
they
Yeah,
they
I don't
they,
put them on Carlos
no,
Manueli at all. Like,
they are a thing in their own right. Fantastic. You can't write that kind of comedy. It's farcical. Again, it's farcical, isn't it? Really, it's everything that you were doing and saying. Some of the people that comment on your videos are basically. You can go, yep, this is exactly what I'm just talking about. People haven't got
yeah,
that sense of food. They've lost the ability to think for themselves, and
it,
it's like, did you realize he's sitting on a sofa next to a puppet, giving you news that this is serious, or
yeah,
you talking about Welsh folklore of putting magic mushrooms in Welsh
and
cakes,
Welsh
and
cakes.
people are
Yeah,
going,
that's been
no,
mad, man.
we don't do that. No, we don't.
Yeah.
Why would you say such a thing? Oh my goodness! It's like, because it's comedy. But
That's where it's
people,
subjective, see, as well. That's what I mean. It's comedy for one person is not comedy at all for someone
well,
else, which is fair enough.
yeah,
But
but
what's
I've got a
believable is another thing.
yeah. Well, I've got a theory on this that I think unless people see it on telly, they don't think it's funny. Do you
I
know what I mean?
don't know.
Unless they've seen, not everyone, but there's a majority of people, because the only comedy they actually do see is on telly. So when they
Hmm.
see an alternative comedy, it frazzles their brain because it makes them think. It's not, you would actually making them think about what you're saying, rather than it just being the basic beginning end punchline thing which they see on telly.
To add to that, then maybe there is something like I could see what you mean, but to add to that is I think it may as well maybe as well that people say I've got deadpan delivery. Maybe if I chuckled or I danced
No,
as I was saying
no,
it,
no,
but because I'm
no,
saying it
no.
so matter of fact, and that's the only way I can say it,
But
they're
but that's
thinking, I
but
think it's got something to do with what you just
oh
said now.
it,
Because if I
oh
was
yeah,
on
it has
telly,
got a lot. It has got a lot to do with your presentation. But then that's a part of the sketch as well. Is your deadpan? It if you it's you're saying it's ironic what you're saying. Really, it's sort of ridiculous in what. So why people can't see, or why else would you say something like that if you weren't if you weren't if you weren't taking the bit? Why else would you say something like that?
no matter how you deliver it, like it's what you're
Yeah,
delivering. You should realize,
yeah. Why
it's
would you
absurd.
say those words if you weren't taking the Mickey?
Yeah,
And that's
but
what that's what makes me laugh, is their reaction to to them, because it's
the
just
in
wow.
in all in all fairness, though, I just pick some of the ones. Most of the people, especially
Oh,
on
yeah,
Facebook, a lot of my followers, they know they know where I'm coming from. Some of it
I
defended me. A lot of them defend me
yeah,
as
I
well.
think what it's probably come from is people like, I share your videos, lots of your followers share your videos, and then
Mm,
it's those people that don't follow you are seeing these videos, never seen your videos before, and are just
yeah,
going, oh right, this guy's serious here, right?
yeah,
Oh right, and because they watch the news and it's anything that's serious, they got to take serious.
Yeah,
So they
so
take
yeah,
you serious.
yeah.
And,
Well,
and
the one.
they can't see the irony in it. Like,
That's it as well. The one thing that does confuse me is if I seen something like that personally myself, seen a guy saying something or a woman, whatever, anybody saying something and what wasn't quite right, the very first thing I would do is check out what other fucking shit they've
yeah,
got.
yeah, yeah.
Before I
Put it up at
comment,
work.
I'd have a look. Oh wait, there. Before I comment now on anything, I best check out what other stuff this guy has got, just to see if I am right. He's having a laugh, or just to see if he's serious. That's what I don't get. Is people
Yeah,
don't
they
look,
don't though.
because I would
It's straight
see.
in. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's what I do. If it's like, right, if somebody would post, sometimes somebody would post something, and whether it's a sketch or anything, read it. That I'm like, I can have a look at what other stuff they post as well.
Absolutely,
Oh,
100%
right,
first before I
okay,
comment. If I'm going to comment,
yeah, I think there's a direction that they're going here, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. Yeah, I
just
really
run
not.
with it. I just run with it. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, because I wanted to say to them, most of them is like, well, have you seen any of my other? I can't, see. They're not going to sit there watching my videos, or have you? But I want to say, like, have you, before you said this, did you think of looking? My channel says entertainment. It doesn't say news.
Yeah,
It doesn't say
yeah.
factual. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not at
Well,
all pretending to be
and even
factual.
when you do the news, it's called snooze. So you can't
So
make it. You can't make it any obvious. What
yeah,
news? I mean,
no,
this is
and that
GB
was part of the.
snooze.
And that was part of the reason why I kept wearing odd socks as well. I thought they'll link that as well with the guy with wearing odd socks, although
Oh, and they
he's
do seem to
deadpan
have overlap
delivery.
though.
Pardon?
The amount of comments you've had about your odd socks, lots of positive, but lots of people again being very critical for the fact that you're wearing fucking odd socks. Like, what an idiot he is! Well, how are we supposed to laugh at his stuff when he can't even wear socks that match?
I know, I know. It's like
Genius.
so
It's
I could see
genius.
some. I could see it. I could see it. Some angles is like, people got this. Like, I don't like seeing it. What have you? I'm some sort of age. I don't know what I got, but some people then it's like, I can't just. It freaks me out watching you wear odd. So, I can I can
I
genuinely
get
understand
it.
that, because I come from some sort of spectrum. Do you know what I mean? Which and I
Yeah,
can see
no,
that
yeah. So,
spectrum.
as you know,
It's like I
but
really can't look up to your face while I'm looking at those.
well,
Like,
I'm looking at
sorry.
his socks.
Yeah. I can't listen to you. I can't hear you. I can't look at your face. So therefore, I'll never watch you ever again. While if you wear odd socks, because I can't
You just
compute
do it
it.
with your dick out instead. So after you've been in comedy now for 20 years, you've had we've seen what sort of inspired you, and we can see it in your comedy. It's obvious there. And then you decided to write a book, but not
Yeah.
about comedy,
I
about
couldn't write.
something, but more of a is it autobiography that it would be called?
Yeah, people are called. I didn't realize it was autobiography, but yeah. Here's another chance for you to dance with me. Yeah.
And
It was kind. You said I decided. It wasn't more my decision. It was something that that was in my belly that I had to. I wouldn't have been happy if I hadn't had written it. It was there on, always burdening me. Basically, it was a
yeah,
big burden. I carried it for years, decades, basically.
yeah,
And then I think it was like around about 2022, 2021. I really, I'd been writing bits of it, what have you, never structured it. I've been writing short stories, never structured. About 2020, a couple of times I realized, right, I need to get this done. And I did not want to carry it into 2025. I carried it into
yeah,
2000, 2010, 2020. I did not want to carry the burden of not writing a book in my head into
yeah,
2025. So I really buckled down at it every single night. And I read a quote, and it said, which is a brilliant quote years and years ago. And it said, if you want to achieve your goals, do something every day that brings you closer to it. And that
True,
was in my
yeah,
head so I had to do so, even if it was thinking a way out of, like when I'm writing, I was writing a chapter, even if it was thinking, right, how am I going to work that chapter out? How am I going to get them out of there? Or how can I introduce this into that? And then maybe the next day, then just going over an old a different chapter, and rejigging it and making it sound right. But it was
yeah,
do something every single day, and then time will do the rest for you. And
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
what I knew. It's like, as long as I do something every day, you're writing a book, you got to write 500 words. Giving myself stupid goals in the beginning, like, oh, write 1,000 words, 10,000. So it's like, no, Carl, 500 words. That's all. Piece of piss. Just 500. And then if I give myself 500 words, I'd end up writing 2,500 words.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
I say write
It's
2,500 words,
you'd
I,
only end up doing 500
I,
or 500. Yeah.
yeah, it was towards the end. It was a horrible, grueling task writing a book. Like it was horrible.
Oh, it is, because when you think, right, it's done, it's done, it's done. I know, right, I'm just going to look over it and do, and then you start looking, and it's like, oh shit, hang on, I've forgotten that. I haven't done that bit for there. And there's always something that you're right, by giving it to some, having it proofread and things like that. It is a good idea, because we miss things because you've looked at it for so long. It
Oh
becomes a
God, yeah. I was
it
like,
becomes a
it
burden
was
on your shoulder,
it
even more of a
was
burden than
30.
it was before.
Yeah, it's 30 chapters. So the first draft, go all the way through it. It was 100,000 words. But I got it down to 70,000 because I had to. I didn't want people holding a big, thick book. But it was like, right, 30 chapters, then I got to start from the beginning again now and go all over it again and do this and do that, edit, re-edit. And then once I done that, it's like, oh, I got to go back to the beginning again,
Yep.
all the way through
Yeah.
again. I got to read all that again
Yeah.
and rewrite it. And the third draft, needed another draft. It's like, oh no. And some chapters I was stuck in for weeks.
It's because obviously it's a semi-biographical. Oh, that's yes, it is
Semi.
semi-biographical. Really, it's based on it's some people's names have been changed for the sake of
Protect the
what
guilty,
people.
yeah. So which
Yeah,
worked out it really worked out in the end because the characters' names I had to change, which is fair enough. It's at the end of the day, it's a true story, and I completely respect anyone that says, Carl, either change. Some people say change my name. I changed most of the names. Some people said I don't want anything to do with it. You can't. I mean, it's absolutely 100% fair enough. I understand that it's hard for me to lay all that down on paper of
yeah,
myself, and I was gaining from it. They weren't gaining anything from it, what have you, except being exposed or what have you. And if I felt a little bit uncomfortable with it, 100% fair enough.
yeah. It's only fair enough on the other side. Yeah,
Absolutely. So, but then it helped me as well. Then I didn't realize it hindered me in the beginning, but then it helped me because those characters, then I can make them say what they want, what I wanted them to say, without phoning someone and saying, "Is this all right for so and so to say this? Is this?" You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah.
and
You can
I could
be
inject.
more. Yeah, you can inject a little bit more sort of story in
I could put anything
and
into
to
that
give it.
person's mouth then without
Yeah,
worrying, because
yeah,
that character isn't based on true character, but it's not the, you know what I mean? So I could do anything with
yeah.
that character
And
then,
if they
taking the,
decide to sue, because I never said those words, it's I didn't say it was you. You've just blown your own cover there. This is a fictional character.
yeah. If it's like that, yeah, if you decided to, it's like, hey, well, you're going to say you're that guy, are you? In my book, I don't think you want to say you're that guy. Maybe you don't
Yeah,
want to
you
say that's
don't.
you.
Oh,
Maybe you don't want to admit it.
you're the mad head in Carl's book. That's
Yeah, I
me.
know
That's based on
that.
reality. Yeah, yeah,
It's the Barbara Streisand effect, then, isn't it? Like trying to suppress it, but then it's
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
it was a hard
it,
task. It
it,
was the hardest task I've ever done in my life.
so obviously, it's a story of over, is it 3 or 4 years?
3 years, 91 to 93.
Over 3 years. And it's obviously I don't want to be giving, we don't want to be giving things away, because obviously we want people to read it. But it's a sort of, it is a love affair as well. A strange one may be it, but it's a bromance really. And it's been called a lot of things since you published it. People have said, commented, oh, it's like a bromance. It's like an autobiography. It's like,
Yeah.
so, and I know they weren't things that were at the forefront of you writing them. So does that give you a bit of, all right, because that says something about your writing as well. Do you know what I mean? That people can pick up the reality of it. They know that there's some of the stories are a little bit, but you haven't gone bananas with them. You've made them realistic.
No, the stories are all true. The
Artistic.
characters, all the
Yeah,
stories are true.
true. It's just
The words may be in
words. Yeah,
between the actual words we said, may not be, but the sentiment then of, so the
yes,
stories are
yeah,
all true. The words may not have been the exact words, but it's in the sentiment of those words
yeah.
is
So
kind of captured. Yeah.
and the work you've done with doing that is, it's all it flows. Do you know what I mean? There's no, well, that doesn't sound, realistic or anything. It's all sort of, because yeah, as you said, it is based on this thing. It's just, you can't remember quite what the words were, but this was the beginning and the outcome of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and
So
this
this
was
is
the
what we
jumble in
said.
between. Like it was
There's
a
a
mix up
jumble
in
in
between.
between
So
trying to remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. Of
So,
course,
it's
to remember those
what
words.
artistic license, really, isn't it? This is, yeah.
Yeah,
But
which I didn't know.
no,
It
again,
was
it's
all
all
new to
things
me.
that, yeah. And so I think the honesty that you've written it, I think that's what uh, I think people are liking. Is, it's the people that, I see them talking on your Facebook and TikTok. They can hear your voice um, when they're reading it, because they know, they follow you on, they've never met you, but they
Mm.
follow you on, and they've been following you for so long. They're reading the book, and it's like that's how you talk on your videos.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
In the
no,
way,
that you
yeah,
presented it. You present it as if you are, because you're telling a story.
it's something again. It goes back to things that I read about. All this type of thing I've read for years about all sorts of things, and it's like they said, write what you know. So that was the first thing I knew. Right, that keeps coming up all the time. So when I knew I wanted to write a book, write what you know. So it's find the subject. I knew that subject, and then I read a lot about writing and watched a lot of videos how to write or what have you. And it said, find your voice. And it was like, what the fuck does find your voice mean? Like, do
What
you
do you
mean
mean?
like, what the fuck? How do I find my voice? Like, and I found it. And they said that's all you need is find, and it's a unique voice. Do you know what I mean? Everybody, all writers, and I understood them what find your voice means, and that's what you've got to do. It's like if you can't find your voice, you're not going to be successfully telling stories or what have you. It's not
Stories,
going to work.
yeah.
And
It's not going to sound convincing. It's going to sound forced. And
I've read books from people what have you, and they um they trying to be facetious, or I didn't want to try to be clever. I didn't want to try like big word, like you say, I use big words. I didn't want to try to be clever or anything like that. I just
yeah,
wanted to be me. Do you know what I mean? And that's the only way. And that's the way I said, oh, right, that's how you find your voice. What do you mean find it? Of course, you don't have to find it. It's there. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's
Like,
there.
and there's me
You
looking for it
use
now.
it,
Do you know
use it
what I
every
mean?
day.
Yeah, I use it every day. And it's like, how do I
You
find
use
my
it
voice?
every
Where
day.
is it?
Yeah. No, it was the same thing for me, really. Yeah, it was. find that voice, and it was like, but then yeah, when I started writing, it just came. It was just like, and it's like, well, it can't be that, because it can't be that easy that I just write down how I think, because there's supposed to be commas and full stops and
Yeah, that, yeah,
and all these
yeah,
colons and everything like that and things that I'm writing, and that doesn't work in what I'm trying to portray.
yeah,
But if I did use all them, then it wouldn't portray what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
So
Exactly. It wouldn't be you. It wouldn't be. That's
yeah,
I could see why it's a big problem when people do write books if it because they're trying to like, all right, I want to say big words, I want to say this, I want to say it was this, it was that, and it's not even their voice. Like it's like you've lost it now.
yeah,
From the word go, you're trying to be too clever. You're trying to appeal and show that you're clever. I didn't want to show him clever. I just wanted to show what we did, like and say it as it was. But yeah, quite a few people have, which I've really enjoyed, is that they've said they read it in my voice and it's well written. And what they mean is like I was wondering what they mean well written. What does that mean, type of thing? And it's a combination of a couple of things. It's easy to read, and it's
it
the
flows.
fact that they say it's well written means I found my voice, basically.
Yeah,
Do
yeah, it
you
flows.
mean?
You don't
Yeah,
want to put it down, because it feels it's as if you were telling it. It is personal from you, and that's
oh,
what
it's
a
very, yeah, it's
biography should
very.
be.
I had to dig. I cried writing in a lot of it. I cried writing quite a bit of it, especially the beginning. In the beginning, about my backstory and what have you. Cried quite a lot. And I laughed, and I thought, oh, that's what I want people to do when they do it. Same as what I'm doing now, laughing and crying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, it is. It's about taking them on that journey, isn't it, with you? And as you said, you feel it when you're reading. You can feel the emotion in there. And it's not forced. It's you haven't gone, oh, I better say this to make it sound. You've genuinely just put down what's come from your heart
Yeah,
into it,
yeah.
and it comes out in the book that's that it's real, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's what makes the funny stuff even more funny, is
Well,
because it's like I can imagine this actually happening.
yeah, which is
It's I
it.
can see
Well,
you give it enough explanation to that you can actually picture it in your mind,
yeah.
and visually it is, yeah.
Well,
So in that
that's
way,
the
yeah,
other
it's well written.
that's the other thing as well, is that luckily as well, all those years of wanted to write a book, I've been writing comedy, what I call comedy anyway. So that has helped that then when I wrote the book, because I didn't know I was going to inject comedy into. I was going to write a book about rape years ago, what have you. Comedy didn't come into it. Nothing funny came into it. It was
No,
just a book of, and then
yeah,
because I've been writing so much with TikTok and what have you, it's like, I've learned how to kind of I didn't know it was going to be a funny book. It was, it was going to be engaging, I hoped, and what have you, the
yeah,
stories and what have you. But
and it
I
is,
man,
yeah,
yeah, I managed
but
to put
there's
humor into it because of
but
all the stuff I've been doing over the years. So that
yeah.
worked out really well. Like,
Well, yeah, it's because it said it's that story of two lads on adventures and doing things. So there's a natural comedy of things that boys of your age just naturally do anyway because they're stupid.
it's a
So
comedy of errors type of thing. Like,
it's a
yeah,
comedy
yeah,
of total, yeah.
yeah,
It's a comedy of errors, and
mm,
again, for you to have remembered and being able to sort of capture that and put it in a book, it's like that's there forever now.
yeah.
This is in
Well,
people's homes, and people are reading this, and they get that out of it, and in years to come, whether it's a bestseller or whether you just sell like 1,000 books, over your lifetime. There's
yeah,
still people out there that have read your story, and and have enjoyed that, and it's good for your grandchildren as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
it's a really good sort of but yeah, my grandfather, I can read about my grandfather. So just, stories, I can read about him.
Yeah, it's a journal. It's like, all right, that was him, was it? But yeah, it's like because books touch me so much, and I know how books can touch people. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 1984. I read 1984 when I was 17, and it's been with me. That was one of the best books I've ever read in my life. It's been with me for it's really, really got ingrained into me. But that's what the power of books. It's like I kind of think with that book now, right? I wrote it, and it's like I said to someone the other day, it was like a child. He's grown up now. I've read it for the 30 years.
Yeah,
I've left. It's gone its own house. Right. It's out of the house now. If you're good, you will do good. If you're not, you won't do good. So you're on your own. It's kind of thing is like you're on your own now, and if that
yeah,
book is worth anything, if it's really good, then it'll show, and it'll be in
yes,
it takes on its own life in itself. Books take on their own life, and if it's worth its salt or whatever you say, it'll take on its own life and do whatever it needs to do out there.
yeah,
And it's like go and see what you can do.
yeah. I've read you all these years. It's
Yeah,
time for you to
yeah.
fly. Yeah,
It's time for you
go
to
on.
fly now, and if you're any good,
Time for you to fly.
it'll show. It'll show, and if you're not, it's
Yeah.
okay. You're
Well,
there. I still love you.
I like. Well, yeah, but obviously it is like a bit. I know. Especially my first one. Um, it's still quite a bit. I still read it and go back over it now and again, and I go, oh, I wish I'd changed that there, and I wish I'd
Yeah. Oh, you got to stop that. Yeah, you got to stop that.
and
Oh,
I've been tempted to sort of take it off sale and rewrite, but I'm like, no, because because I plan, I've got two out now, and I got this third coming. This is a journey of my writing as well.
all right. Yeah,
So
yeah. Of course it will.
if I
Yeah,
play with that, it's going to take away that sort of, I've learned from that book. I put in this book, as in,
you should be improving on it. Yeah,
I should be improving as I go along. So it's
yeah.
like it's there for a reason. And so I am going to ask you: are you going to write? Not obviously you. This was a chapter of your life that you can't really go. Even though I know you've got a million other stories to
Mm.
go that you could have put in here. So you could do another one on this. But are you planning on doing any other sort of books now you've got the bug for it?
Yeah, that's what. When I was looking at ISBN, because you know yourself, when you're writing a book, you have to. It's all sorts of things you have to learn, and one of the things is ISBN numbers, and the Amazon give you your own ISBN number. But if you wanted to put it in and publish it, you'd have to get another ISBN number, and you could buy ISBN numbers. And when I was reading about them, it said most people they were suggesting most people buy about 10 at a time because and they were all saying this on the websites, in my experience, somebody who writes one book writes more books. And I was thinking, nah, no, what have you? But now it's like I could
Yeah.
see why, because it's like you pop the cherry type of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's
Well, yeah, you prove to yourself that you can do you can do it, and that even
70,000
though
words. Yeah. If
yeah, even
I
though it's a ball ache,
I
even though
wouldn't
it's a
want to do
ball ache,
70,000 words. I wouldn't want to do 70,000 words again. I could, but I wouldn't want to put myself through that again because
no.
although I've learned a lot from it, it should be, I shouldn't make the same mistakes again. But that was too tough.
Yeah, would you sort of so what kind of things would you think of sort of doing now? It's are you gonna what kind of thing are you gonna do? Are you gonna do a joke book like? Are you
I got about
are you
yeah,
gonna
I
write
got
are you gonna write a bit? Are you gonna a spy novel? Are you
a spy
gonna
novel. Secretly, I'd love to write a complete fantasy novel. I build worlds in my head, but I'd love to a fiction book or something, but I don't think so. I can't. I don't think. But I've got I got about 4 or 5 ideas. I got a poems book, which I digitized all my poems. There's 70 of them. I've got letters that I never sent and letters I received from people, because I used to write letters. I still like writing letters, whatever. So I've got letters from, like, when Rob was in prison, we used to write to each other. His letters are hilarious from that we used to send each other when he was in prison.
Yeah.
I've got stories that I never put in the book, which didn't make the book. So it's trying to work out how to do that. Shall I do a book of miscellaneous where there's poems, letters, and stories, or just write the whole book on poems and then the whole book on story? Do you mean?
Well, if I know you, then I think eventually you'll cover them all. I really do, because it's, and knowing how simple it is now to do. The hardest part, as you say, is putting it all together. But
I'm
whether
going
you
over it again. The hardest
I'm going
part
over
was
it.
having to, the hardest part was having to reread it over and over again,
Yeah,
and
that's
knowing
the
you have
hardest part.
to. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
and the way that got me through that is I used to work in a factory. I worked in a factory for 8 years. I mean, it was a horrible job doing on a power press. You get a piece of metal, put it into the machine, pull the guard down, pressure pedal, it curls it up, chuck it into a box, doing 800 of those an hour. And
I used to do that
that's
as
taken
well.
me through. Yeah, us, did they on a power press?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
The
believe I
metal
did it. But
springs.
yeah, right, Metals. I was just around the corner in Kevin String Gauges, just up the
Oh,
road in Kevin
yeah,
String
yeah,
Gauges.
yeah, yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, it was like that told me a lot. It helped me with the book. Is I can't remember when you used to sit there for 8 hours a day doing 1,000
Monotonous.
fucking things, monotonous things, like, and it's like a fact. It's helped me a lot in life, Araz. It's like
Oh, yeah,
it's a factory, so even if, right, sitting down in your room in the comfort of your room having to read your book again, Carl, is not as bad as sitting on a power press.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you mean
It's,
it's like, but
it's about perspective, isn't it? It is about
yeah, yeah,
perspective. Because
yeah.
I got really annoyed with myself this week when I'd given it to my nephew to have a look at. He's a teacher, and he sent me 2 pages back with loads of red marks.
Red mark.
And
They're not allowed to use red anymore, are they?
no, nobody did for me. And I was like, but when I'm reading it, then I'm just going, "Oh, you dick! This is the most obvious thing. How have you missed this? How have you missed this? Do you know what I mean? And they
All
are the
right.
most
Yeah.
obvious things, and it's because I got blind. I've got blind. I've read it so many times. I've got blind to things, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, I've gone over that bit now. I don't need to look back on that again. When
Oh, yeah. I
obviously I
know that
do.
feeling. Yeah. You don't want to look.
And
You know you should, but it's like, oh, I
yeah,
really do. I really, really have to. And it's like, Carl, you should, like. So I was printing it out then as well, because somebody said, reading on the screen one thing. So part of
but
the
yeah,
fifth draft was reading it, printing after it was printed out. So, oh God, I got to sit down here and read it now again.
yeah.
I've read it so many times. Can I
I
skip
told
this bit?
I've given myself a fortnight off from it. I really have. I
Good. Yeah,
got
you got
right.
to walk away from it. You have.
I've got to walk away from this now, and I've got to go back with it with fresh eyes.
You definitely got to
And
walk away from it. And in the back of
because
your
I got so
mind,
annoyed.
you'll work on it.
Oh, I got so annoyed with myself. So annoyed with myself. I was just like, I was calling him rotten for pointing him out. First, you swine. When you do that? You asked
Oh,
me to. I know, but you didn't have to do it. You could have said, yeah, or just changed them for me and sent it back.
no,
but
it's good that.
it's good. It's. I've learned. Again, it's again. Yeah, I get a fortnight off now, and I'll go back with it. And I know I'll be able to go through that, and I
Yeah.
might have to go through it once more afterwards, just to be. But I think it is more or less ready. I've just made a very rookie mistake in chapter 1, and that's more of my introduction to people.
How many
So
words is there? How many words is the book?
um, it's 78 pages.
That's a silly answer when I ask how many words are in a
I
book.
don't know. I don't know a minute now. I'll tell you now. I should say words. Where do you find words?
So people was asking me how many pages in your book. I was like, more into words. I said, but I know what you mean. I've written a book now, so words count more. But for people, it's like, how many pages in your book, Carl? I said, I don't fucking know. 70,000 words.
Yeah. Where do I find how many words?
Is it in Word? Open Word and just look down the bottom right hand corner. It'll
Oh,
tell
right.
you.
26210.
2,000. What is it? 26,000.
26,210.
26,000.
Hang on a minute. There's more than that.
Yeah, it'll slow. If it's a lot, it'll take a while to count up as well. See.
Yeah, it's still loading up. It is 26,175.
It's not bad, like 26,000. That's so. Is that the final word count around about that?
Yeah, that should be the. Well, obviously, it might go up 10, might go down 10 with me having to change a few things.
10,000. It might go up or down 10,000.
No, 10 or 20, like either way. Might go up and might go down. 10 or 20 in general. So
I did 10 words, like.
Well, no, it's just I've got to go in and I've got to change a few things. That's all. I've used wrong spellings and things like that. And it's like, oh shit. So there's not much changing, as in.
Oh, so you are actually saying it's not going to be like 100 more words. It's not going to be 10,000 more words. It's going to be like 10.
It's done. It's done. It's
right.
done. All it needs doing is, going over again where I've just made silly mistakes where I haven't checked a paragraph and things like that, and it's gone, all right, okay, I need to look at that again and just change.
Right, I know where you are now with it. Yeah. You're on your.
But it's the book itself is finished. I'm not writing. I'm not writing anymore. I didn't want it to be, as you say, didn't want it to be a masterpiece. This is something I want somebody to be able to carry around with them.
Yeah.
So I don't want it being big, and so it's quality, not quality. Where ours is mine's different. I think it's a self-help picture with quality rather than quantity, and it's not a story. So it's just I've tried to break things down rather than expand on them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's good going. 26,000 words. It's like.
Yeah, but I know myself. I managed to do loads of filler, like, but as in things where it's not filler. It's like organizations people can get in touch with. There's lots of information in there as well, so they can.
Yeah. No, it's good going.
But so yeah, I reckon your poems should be next.
It is ready. It's ready there. It's like this man is like I wrote all these poems years ago. I digitized them recently, and then it's like, oh, how just because I'm no good at punctuation and grammar at all. Although I wrote a book, like I had a proofreader to do all that, what have you. But I don't want a proofreader for my poems. But it's still weird. I had to look at different poems and they do it. The laws and the rules of poetry is like, do I put a comma here, full stop, comma? So looking at it now, I'm just going to put full stops and commas where I want, because poetry is different rules. There is no rule. It's like start off with a capital letter. Each line starts with a capital letter, even though you don't put a full stop. And it's like, all right, so in the end, that's the only thing that's stopping me now.
Yeah, you can write poetry how you want it to be.
I'm going to, I'm going to, like,
words. And if
that's the only thing that's.
Oh, you should have done it like this, or you should have done it like that. It's like, it's not you. They know your words. They're my words, and that's how
it's not. So what it comes down what it comes down to is like, right, they were good on when I wrote them on paper, what have you, and I've had to rejig them. What it comes down to now is, right, okay, I'll use the capital letter in the beginning of each one, whatever. I'll take that rule forward. And then after when I've written the poems is like full as regards to full stops and commas, it's whether it's going to be aesthetics. It's not going to do with punctuation or grammar. It's going to be if the full stop don't suit there aesthetically, by the look of it, it's not going there, Carl. You mean like yeah. So I don't want to spend too long on that. They're all done, 70 of them.
I reckon you can have that out by Christmas.
Oh, if I sat down, I could have it out in 2 days. Really, if I actually sat down and said 2 days,
yeah,
but
there's a challenge for us.
But because they're written, all I got to do then is put them in the format of PDF for Kindle and PDF for print. That and then upload them, cover, what have you. But it's not an urgent thing I've got on my head at the moment.
But it's what you want to say. I mean, by Christmas, so it would be a nice Christmas present.
I'd say there we are. That's a good idea. That is. It's like, Carl, by Christmas, by the end of the year, I will have my second book out, and if it's not thing, it'll be the book of my. I don't call them rhymes. They are like, but.
That's even better. A book of rhymes, because if you even call it's not poetry, then it's book of Hollisman. It's book of rhymes.
Yeah, because I've always had a problem with like calling my stuff poems because they're rhymes. They are, but it's poem sounds better.
Yeah, I
can't write poems.
I always get my poems and rhymes mixed up as well, though, because it's like it's the same as writing a song, really. You know what I mean? There's always got to be a rhythm to it, but some poems got no rhythm to it at all. It's just run. It's just, some of them I don't get, because I was always brought up that a poem had a rhyme to it.
I was sort of brought up with that, but then I always tried to write stuff that didn't rhyme, but it just didn't make sense. But one poem that I really like is like rhythmic. Is the way is Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Xanadu, Kubla Khan, and it said, in Xanadu did Kubla Khan a pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man. And I just love that. I mean the way
that's impressive that you pulled that out of thin air. Then that's but that's not a hard, that's not an easy one to remember. That's bit play, dude.
I think it goes twice 5 miles of fertile ground where walls and towers were girdled round. It so beautifully flows. Do you mean? Yeah, it's Xanadu, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He was on opium. He's one of those older poets. But it's just that so beautiful. It just.
So obviously, you've got the book out, and you're talking about moving forward. Having a book out by Christmas, no pressure. But you also audio booking this at this current moment.
Yes, that's going really well in Coal House Bunkers, Coal something Bunkers. Sorry, Joel, if you're watching. Joel and Kane in Port Talbot. Got a recording studio, and they've been brilliant. I couldn't do it this weekend. I was supposed to do it Sunday, but I come down with a cold, and a chest, bad sore throat, and cough.
That's going to take off. That's going to thing your voice then be different.
I could hear it in my voice. It's nasally, and it's like, I couldn't do it. So we were booked for Sunday to do a 4-hour session, and I just couldn't do it. So fair play to him. We booked it in because we're going shooting Sunday. We booked for every Sunday for the next 5 Sundays. I think we've got 4-hour sessions, 5 Sundays, 5 or 6, 5 Sundays. So I'm going there this Friday now, 6 o'clock. Which is good. They managed to fit me in to do because I missed this Sunday, And I think
Yeah.
for me, the crucial part is the beginning, getting the bulk out of the way to make me feel as if I've achieved. Whereas I've always, in the past, in my life, me and Robert, we've always said we wanted to do things, but never did them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've
Yeah.
done that a lot in my life. Like, no doubt you have as well. I'm going to do this. I'm going to
Yeah.
do that. I'm
Yeah.
going to do this.
Totally.
And it's important now for me as well, which is good. I'm doing it Fridays to get the front end out of the way, because it means I'm moving on. Something's happening. Do you know what I mean? It's always that thing in the back of your mind. Oh, I said you're going to do it, but you're never going to do it. I said I'd write a book. You know, I didn't. Robert said to me, Carl, I know you said you was going to, but you know, I had faith in you, but sometimes I thought you were never going to do it. But when the other thing is when you're writing a book, you need that one friend to keep asking you, because you feel guilty
do.
then. And it's like, how's the book going? And that was Rob. How's the book going? If he didn't ask me so much, I didn't have anyone to answer to as well.
No,
You mean, like,
you're
he's
right.
like, he's going to ask me next time I phone him now, and how's the book going? Like, and I got to give him a progress report on it now. Like, do you mean, like, he's like, so that helped me a lot. But yeah, the audiobook, I'm hoping to be finished, I would say April time. I'd like it for, I'd like it for
But if you can
yeah.
get it out in April, so May, June, ready for the summer season, you know, it'd be a good sort of selling point of it. You know, it's about your rave days as well, so it's a good selling point. You know, you're going on Ibiza holidays.
Take the
Take
book.
your book
Oh,
and you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
read
The few people that
your
have
events.
a few people that have bought it now and have told me that it's there ready for when they go in on holidays or on the plane or what have you. Do you mean, like, they haven't read it, they're ready, they've got it. You know, people like reading material, but
Yeah, 'cause I
yeah,
think that
but
there's a market there that they haven't sort of tuned in on, is the holiday book people. You know, they
the
cater
holiday
for
book
every other
people,
thing,
yeah. No, it's always been,
but
it's always been, yeah. People they leave their books on
the holiday
holidays
book
then as well,
people.
yeah. But yeah, the audio book, April, May, around about there, because once we do the audio, actually do it, then I've got to edit it, which takes a long while then. And Amazon ACX, I think it's called Amazon ACX, they got some strict guidelines as well. They're not too
Yeah,
strict, but they've got some
but it's
guidelines
got
on how
yeah,
it needs to be uploaded to them, and they check it. And
right.
because there was a talking to a friend of mine, and he mentioned that Peter Kay adds things in his book that adds things in the audiobook that are not in the actual book. So then I
Yes.
come across an article then, and it said ChatGPT told me I'm not allowed to do that. But then I thought, that makes sense,
Well, I think
because
you
you could
can, as
write
long
an
as you say
audio.
it's the extras, because it's not the book, is it? It's an audio. It's a audio version of that book, so you can. I've listened to quite a few with his extras. I think
There's
there's
extras, is it? Is it?
yeah,
'Cause that's the other
there's
thing.
extras
As
in it.
I'm talking the book, which I didn't realize I was going to do an audiobook of it. I'm thinking, oh, I wanted to change. You know, it's easier to change that word and what have you. You know, so that's the other thing I've got to
I
look
don't think
into.
it's not so much like that. I think you can sort of, as long as you're saying, you know, this has been edited to suit an audio book. You make it plain that you've done that. I can't see
Yeah,
there being a problem.
because otherwise you could create a book like Amazon checks your books. You know, they check your book for certain things like that they don't
Yeah,
allow on the platform. So I'm like thinking, all right then. So I could make a book, write it, get a print version, and then make an audio book that's completely different. So they obviously their AI is must check word for word,
yeah.
because
I think
you
it
know that's
takes,
the
as long as
loophole.
it's yeah. I think it's, as long as it's sort of you know, you can't put a different book out.
Yeah.
You know, you can't put a different book out.
I know that.
You know,
I'll get through Amazon loophole now, but yeah, writing this book, but doing an audio book completely different to
audio book
that.
is
Like.
It's just you swearing constantly, going fuck him,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck him. The making of there's an extract right at the end of it. Here's the making of, and it's just you swearing profoundly right at the end. But no, you can put extras on at the end and things like that. Say if you wanted to add an extra sort of chapter that because it's a bonus chapter then. So it would get people
Oh,
to.
right.
I've got the book. Why would I have the audiobook? Oh, it's got 2 bonus chapters in it.
It's
right.
got bonus chapters in it. Yeah.
I don't read that.
I don't think I will be doing that because it's hard enough. I didn't realize when you're in that like recording. So you've been in a recording studio, and Joel and Kane. It's a recording studio. They've normally done singers. They've done Ruth Maddock was in there a few years back as well, doing voiceover. But yeah, so it's new for them as well. But it's for me as well. It's like Joel said, how many hours can you talk for, Carl? You're going to get tight. Your voice is going to get drained. You're not going to be enthusiastic. So we've cut it at a certain point.
You've got to make sure you drink. But the problem is when you eat and drink is you want to go to the toilet all the time. But you've got to make sure you've got to keep hydrated and you've got to keep yourself energied up.
I don't eat at all. I just make sure I eat before I go down there so my belly's not rumbling, which it did the other day after a while. I got the water.
Protein bars, you do. Protein bars. Seriously, it makes a big difference. It really does. When you're having a little break, is have a protein bar because you give you that little bit of a pickup that sometimes you can, because you can.
Good idea.
You may not feel it, but sometimes our voices will sort of drop a little bit because
that's a good idea.
We are getting tired.
Yeah.
So either that or cocaine.
Cocaine.
Yeah,
don't go, boys. Don't go. Another 2 chapters.
I did 56 bonus chapters.
Yeah. But it is new doing the audiobook, and like I say, Joel knew when to stop. Then he said, "Look, I think we'd done 6 chapters where I did the bit about my house, Robert, my dog, my mate Rob, my mate Simon." And then he said, right, now I'm going on to the raving parts. And Joel said, look, we'll stop there, Carl. You've done that bit. He said, you want to be fresh now because this is where you're getting into it now. So he said, we cut this short here now, and this is for the next session now. So when you come here, you're sitting there and you're right, you're full of vigor. Let's do the raving parts, like.
Yeah, it is. Otherwise, you would have lost that little bit of thing. So
I needed a solid break then. I mean, not to go. Yeah, so which is great, which is perfect timing. So that will help now with the knowing chapter markers. Is like I might say, look, this is a big break from here to here, so we'll stop here so I can come into it next time with gusto, like, because you will drain off.
Whether you realize it or not, you do lose something. There was something I should do the same in radio when I used to be in the studio on my own. The beginning of the show would be me going, hey, you know, play, you know, and all that, and then as I'm coming to the end of the show, you can tell I'm coming my you know, all that talking. Just got me, you know, down. This is a little bit different, is because it's a conversation with the radio, because I used to play music in between as well. I'd have those down times, and if it was music that I weren't really interested in, I'd just be like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but that's why I prefer the podcast thing, is because it is a continuous, you know, there isn't any breaks to lose that sort of momentum. And, you know, so yeah, that's one of the reasons I like these. So we've got somebody that's commented. Well, it's the cat telling me he wants feeding because he's outside the door gagging. It's on.
Is what? Sorry.
He said, "Oh, it's Craig Chapman." He said, "Hello."
All right, Craig.
No, it was like right at the beginning of the show, but never mind. Hey, Craig.
I know.
So it's you got your channel, obviously. You're not, and you're doing podcasts on there as well now.
I done one podcast with with Brud C TV and Tall Lady Kitty. Yeah.
I mean your Carlos Manueli page.
What do you mean now? Oh, Facebook page.
Well, your Facebook and TikTok. That you
all right, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You know the Benney and Manueli show.
All right, yeah, we got the Benney and Manueli show going on next Wednesday. That is now, and it's 13th, isn't it?
No, next Thursday.
Thursday, 13th it is, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, because
I knew it was 13th, but I forgot. I got him. Yeah, I'm enjoying that. I've got I got a whose coat is that jacket in my there ready.
And this weekend also, as you mentioned earlier, we are going shooting together. Play pigeon
Father
shooting.
Sunday. It's a Father Sunday as well. You were bringing your son.
I'm bringing as well.
I'm taking my son.
Sean, well, I'm taking. Yeah, I get that. Oh, right, that's on Sean's coming as well. So that I didn't realize it was Father Sunday.
Yeah. I'm taking Finley. You were taking Sean. So
yeah,
I think the weather.
Make a video of that.
Yeah. The weather looks. I think the weather is going to be good. Pardon?
Yeah, I've had a check, and it looks dry. So that's good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to shooting.
Yeah, well, I've never shot a shotgun before. I've shot loads of guns.
Yeah.
Loads of guns. I mean, loads of different types of guns. You know, machine guns, but never a shotgun. So this is. I'm quite looking forward to this.
It should be.
I'm doing training this week, so it doesn't dislocate my shoulder like.
Really? I want dislocate shoulder. Yeah, get your shoulder ready.
Oh, my shoulder, my arm has just fallen off.
No, I'm looking forward to that. So Friday night I'm doing the second part of the audio book in the studio. Saturday nothing. So Sunday then shooting then. So yeah.
Cool. It's have we got anything else sort of planned coming up, or is it just sort of because really now after the book's been published, you're getting back into sketches again, really?
I've got a book signing as well. In a rave, in a rave, right. Which is gonna be mad. It's from in my book I talk a lot about the TikTok crew, not the TikTok. You know, the rave crew who organize huge parties and back in 1991 in the book. So I talk heavily about that and Martha's in Swansea. So I was invited to a book signing because the book is called "Here's Another Chance for You to Dance with Me," which is a song from it's a lyric to a song from Shades of Rhythm called "Sound of Eden."
Yeah.
So Shades of Rhythm, TikTok are going to do their last ever TikTok in Swansea, and Shades of Rhythm are going to be there as well, and Lomas and all the old DJs from back in the day. So so on March the 1st, I'll be doing the book signing.
Book signing. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's a really. So if there's anyone out there that would like Carl to go and do a book signing there or do a reading.
Let me have a look where it is now. Let me just check now. I'll tell you where it is.
As is an official agent, I'm taking bookings for it now. I only take a measly 50% for all my hard work.
I haven't seen any of it yet, mind.
Well, you know, what of you were 50% or the hard work?
Let me see now.
I'm looking at this today because I've had to put it on back up there again, and I need to go and have my beard trimmed because oh my god, I look like Uncle Albert.
That's all right, man. It's winter time, man. It's winter time. It's all right. The book signing Saturday 1st of March at Heaven, 7 Castle Street, Swansea. It's a day rave as well. but it's in Saturday first, which is St. David's Day. Heaven, 7 Castle Street, Swansea. So I'll be there from around. I start at 3 till 2 a.m. I think I'm going there around 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock. And Robert is. He said he'll come with me, but it's going to be different. It's nice of them to invite me. It's going to be different.
That's lovely of them, like. And if there's any other raves out there that want him to come and,
No, I think I'll only ever do that. I think I won't do that again. I think I'll only ever do
non-raves. If there's any non-raves, if there's any non-raves out there that
if there's any non-raves, like
non-raves, that you want him to come and.
I won't be raving in there. I'll be driving as well, so I won't be. I'm not clubbing.
If there's any tea parties out there, they want him to come and
tea and cakes, perfect. If you've got a nice tea shop, I can come in and sign books. Like that would suit me fine. Like lovely little tea shop in a cozy little place somewhere. That'd be lovely.
We have to find a cozy little tea shop for you to do your interview, I think.
Oh, I tell you, my wife was on about earlier. They're doing a little market thing in a Duke in Neath.
Oh, right.
Hemp. Right. So I was thinking that would be a perfect place to go for a book signing. Is the Duke in Neath? It's a bloody bazaar. It's called February Market, the Duke in Neath. All local small businesses. It's NPT Medical Support Hub. Hemp coffee and hemp tea inside.
Oh, that's perfect for you.
It's February 20. I think I wouldn't be able to make it for this month, but if they're doing another month, the Duke, because Tony Grant, we met. Well, you know Tony as well, didn't you? You introduced me to Tony Grant. Yeah.
It's I think that's it's venues like that, because it's
perfect. Perfect. It's hemp tea and coffee. So I'll keep an eye out for next time, and that would be a perfect place for book signing.
I'd come down to that one with you.
Oh, great! Yeah, I would need someone to hold my hand, definitely,
I'm hoping to get Alid on you over the next couple of weeks. I haven't asked him yet, I'll have him be. He's my connection there as well. So I'm Paul.
Oh, Paul James, yeah.
Paul, I think Paul would be the person to talk to for anything in the Duke, really.
Well, I'll join that Facebook page then and keep an eye on it. But something like I didn't think of anything like that for book signing again. What have you? It was like I felt daft doing book signings. What have you? But I could do something like that.
It's just I was hoping to get some sort of some of these fates and things like that and going with my book this year once the summer comes out. It's a good way of getting it out there, and unless we're willing to pay thousands on advertising.
I know it's what people have said. It's the other thing is right, your book is over now. It's like marketing your book. I'm following loads of people on TikTok about marketing and stuff like that, So as well as that was over, then I'm learning then this other thing. The only thing I can do is just I like I said, if it's good enough, it'll do its own job. Do you mean and I don't care then if it's not whatever, but if it is good, it'll take on a life of its own and it'll what have you.
I believe it if it gets in the right hands, because it is a good book. And I could see a film being made, because it's only over 3 years, and I could see a film being made there, because it is like I said, it is a bromance. So any producers out there looking for a story,
there it is. But if like I say, with the marketing, I'll do learn little bits of marketing, making videos and maybe book signing. But if it's worth its salt, if it's good enough, it'll find its own way in the world. Do you mean that's what I believe?
Well, like with myself, you wrote it for a personal reason, not to be famous.
No, not at all. Not for money, not for nothing. I wrote
Yeah,
it
so
because
it's
I
not.
couldn't. I had to.
Yeah, you have to. It's
I
there,
couldn't
and it's like, well,
relax.
what am I going to do with this information? If I don't write it
Yeah,
down, then
I,
well, it's just going to stay in my head
and I
forever. But
couldn't
once you
relax.
write it down,
I, I,
you
I
can
just
leave it
couldn't
go.
relax.
You can go,
Yeah,
ooh, that's off my shoulder, and
yeah. Off you go
yeah,
now, boy. Make your own way in the world, like, really,
yeah,
like.
off we go, boy, off we go. Right,
Mm,
it's we've done hour and 40.
wow.
No, short. No, we've done an hour and 10 because we start.
All
Oh,
right.
hang on a minute,
9:30 we started.
and it's now 10 past ten
Till
past 11. 10 past 11.
9:30, 10. All right, nearly 20. Right, I was thinking then too. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
hour and
wanted to
40.
start it later anyway, didn't I? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, hour and 40. I could, I could, I could talk to you forever
I
anyway.
know, and I've got to go to the toilet. Do you know when we stop talking
This is
live now? Do you still want to talk afterwards? Because I don't. I want to go then.
no, I want to pee as well, and I've got a song that finishes the end once that bed, so that'll come on. So leave that play, and then we can both
So,
go to the toilet,
so we're
and
not
we
going
sit
to
back
another
talking
meeting room
tomorrow.
afterwards. When we
No,
finish
you
here.
go and have your pee. You go and have your pee, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Excellent. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that.
Right, again, thanks for coming on, dude.
Okay.
We even though we talk to each other on a regular basis, when we have conversations like this, it's a completely different thing. I've learned a
Mm.
lot about you, like, that I didn't know. You know what I mean, about the words, and so it is lots of. It's good to have these conversations with each other, and
Yeah.
when it's just a day-to-day thing, we just shoot the breeze. This is a proper conversation, and this is what Benny Babbles is about: is to have conversations with people. Again, thanks for coming on. My second guest of the rerun of Benny Babbles. I had Luke last week, and I'm doing another one on Sunday at 8 o'clock
With
with
who?
Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor, he's a mental health advocate. Um, and I don't know, I can make sure that I got the name right. Hang on, bear with me. Let me just
How
check.
can you not get Mark Taylor right? Like,
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know right now. Have I got
Mark
this
with a
right?
C or Mark with a K. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
even when you say it.
Let's have a look. It's
Or the Tark Mailer, like.
Clark Mailer. Is wait, let me just check. Because you know what I'm like with names. I'm terrible. I know I say this joke all the time. I've even got my own tattooed on my arm so I remember it. But it's true. That's how bad at names I am. It's terrible. It's right. Okay, happening now. Sunday. There we are. Let's have a look at Sundays. Sundays. It's Mark Taylor. Wow! Look at that. Yeah.
You're
He's
proud
a
of that,
mental.
like that was something
Yeah.
really small. Like I got the name right.
Yeah.
Like you got, I got.
I had to get it right. It would have bugged me otherwise. And I'm holding on now because you want to go to the toilet. So men's health advocate Mark Taylor. He's the walk and talk leader and director of MWAT. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that on Sunday at
That's
8 o'clock.
cool. It's a good
If you're
subject.
available. See you again.
Good subject. Different as
Yeah,
well. Like you
yeah.
need different guests,
Um,
don't you?
yeah, because I was going to be doing two podcasts because I was going to do some as Benny the coach as well, but I've decided and I've realised I can just do them from Benny Babbles and broadcast them there simultaneously, if you know what I mean. But when I
Yeah,
just do my
yeah.
mental health stuff as well, but I can still do them under Benny Babbles and saves having. It's confusing for people having loads of things everywhere, isn't it? So I'm going to
Yeah,
do it like that.
yeah.
So if there's anyone out there that would like to come on as a guest, please get in touch. I'd love to have you. Again, yeah. See you. Speak to you tomorrow. See you
Yeah.
Sunday. Don't forget your or every camera that you own, so we can take photos from every video from
Oh,
every
yeah,
angle.
yeah. Sunday, quarter to. They need to be there for 10. I'll speak to you about that before.
Yeah,
Anyway, there's no point in going into
we
this now.
sort out because I'm going out on Saturday, so this is going to be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. Bottomless brunch Anyway,
All right.
right, okay. Hang on. Right, how do I log out of here now? Sean Benney usually does this. Right, so yeah. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If
Thank
you
you for having me.
don't worry about it. See us on the repeats. Good night, everyone. Ta-ra.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Geraint.
Ta-ra, Bats. Ta-ra.